Okay, so this is my 2002 Intimidator, and this is the board that I made. And let's turn it on. And some things that you can see here are it has a timer, battery voltage, and this voltage right here can go all the way down to like 5 volts, and it will still operate. It says safe. It has the temperature sensor right here. And it has a lock for tournaments and stuff. So you can turn it on, you can turn it off, and then you can also use this other dip switch to change the temperature reading from Fahrenheit to Celsius. So anyway, if you have the lock off, then you are able to access the menu. So you have a game timer, and this can be adjusted. It goes all the way up to like an hour, I think. I forgot. It's been a little while since I programmed it. You can adjust your dwell, and this, honestly, I forgot how high and how low I set these things. All right, so I'll just leave that at like 15. It says semi uncapped, but that's like hard coded in there. Really, this is semi, and the uncapped is inaccurate in the sense that on the next screen, we will be able to adjust the rate of fire, I believe. So, but you can change this mode. So, I mean, if you wanted to, you could change that. Full auto is programmed and fully operational. So is the burst mode. There is a ramping mode that I just haven't had the time to sit down and really mess with it and get it working the way that I want it to. I'm going to model the ramping off of whatever that ProMaster does over there, whatever the ramping mode happens to be on that one. That's the most modern gun that I've got. So anyway, when the ramping is working, it will emulate the ProMaster's ramping. So anyway, so actually, you know what I have to do? I have to go and I have to adjust it. It cannot be on ramping mode right now since I haven't programmed ramping. Ramping won't work. So semi will work, and then the other two modes will work. So I'll keep it on semi. I'm going to change the rate of fire. Let's turn that thing up. Right now the default is like 15, but I plan to go ahead and implement some sort of memory. When you boot it up, it saves your settings from last time. And there's like an EEP ROM on the chip here that you can like save your settings on when you boot it up and shut it down and all that sort of jazz. So I'll leave that at like 25 BPS. And then the eye does have a delay. You can like adjust all that. But the thing about the eye is that, I don't know, it's somewhere on this messy table right here. But my eye was very old. And so, one of the leads broke on it, and I cannot seem to find the time to sit down and really order. I believe it needs like 3mm, maybe it's 5mm LEDs and photo transistors to make some new ones, but I know how to do that. I've done it before in the past, not a big deal. But let's go ahead and turn this thing from safe to live, and you will see that it definitely clicks the Noid. I have this like Bic or Papermate spring in here right now, which makes the trigger like really ridiculously firm. So walking it right now with that in place is difficult. Maybe what I can do is I can the dog is now looking for the spring. It's over there on the floor. Better get it before the baby does. But anyway, if you want to like walk the trigger, let's see if I can do this with like one hand. Like, how am I going to do this? Okay. Anyway, break it out of here. Yeah, it can rip. So, only other thing about this is it's got a LED in here. Kind of hard to see. It's just a surface mount LED on the back of the board. Some other little features about it. Let's see here. Voltage regulator right here takes 9 volts and steps it down to 5 volts, and it outputs half an amp. And it's got low noise filter capacitor right here. Let's see here, we got an N-channel MOSFET that's kind of directing power to the solenoid. We have a battery monitoring circuit. We have the processor. with its respective clock. We have 2 programming ports on this, one for serial for debugging purposes, and one for in-circuit serial programming. We have some support stuff here, some support hardware. It does use an Omron D2F right angle lever switch. This is not the best dip switch to use because it has the raised, what do you call it? It has the raised the switches on it. Really what you want is one of these that has the flat recessed switches so that when you put the clamshell back on top of it, it actually closes correctly. So Omron makes one that's better than this C and K switch, so I'll swap that out at some point. And you might be wondering, for those of you that have done something like this before, what the heck this guy is. Well, as it turns out, this guy right here is it is a hex inverting Schmitt trigger. That is what the integrated circuit is, and the purpose of it is to mechanically debounce all of the switches on here. So it doesn't have debounce settings on it. I know back in the old days, everybody was like, oh, set your debounce real low and the thing will ramp and do all sorts of crazy stuff. But nowadays we had all of this in software. So really what I wanted to do was eliminate all the circuit noise anytime you pushed a button in, so that you didn't end up, getting some weird, button behavior, that is undesirable. So I chose to mechanically debounce my switches. That's just my preference. But I can make boards like this just about any shape that you want. I got some experience doing this. This is another one that I've done. I'm kind of working on it right now. It's really, honestly, it's just the same circuit. It really is. And you can go ahead and maybe guess what gun that's for. It's a work in progress. I used a different board manufacturer for this one than I did for this one. And I'm not 100% certain that I really like how these ones came out. So I might just go back to the old board manufacturer, because these ones are quality and those ones are like, I'm not 100% certain on them. But anyway, that's my board. I'm not going to take it out, but if anybody wants anything like this, I'm not going to do it for free, obviously, but I'm not a commercial board manufacturer, nor am I trying to be. But if you want something kind of cool, kind of custom, honestly, the reason I made this is for my 11-year-old kid, and I wanted to make sure that, we had a project and, he could see his dad do something cool. And then always, every time he goes out of the field, he knows he's got something custom no one else has. So anyway, that's what I got. Dog.